Another match, another Lennart Karl goal, with his left foot that is becoming more and more notorious. You know, Michael Ballack has said that Karl is more than just an option for the World Cup, someone who should be strongly considered. Now, of course, Ballack is actually Lennart Karl's agent. Surprise. Did you know that Michael Ballack was an agent now? And naturally, as his agent, part of his job is to speak as highly of his client as possible. But with how Lennart Karl is playing, Ballack's job has been easy so far. Breaking records, yes, but performances that Karl can point to as being some of the best amongst his peers at Bayern Munich at times, which has caught the attention of clubs across Europe, no doubt. It is not likely at all that Bayern let him leave. His contract is until 2028 currently, with talks of a renewal when he turns 18 next February. But he is causing some major problems, not just for opposing defenses, of which there's many, but some good problems for Vincent Kompany and Julian Nagelsmann to have when it comes to the structure and personnel they'll deploy in the coming months. Just over a year ago, Lennart Karl was on an unbelievable run with Bayern's U17 side, showing great promise. Now, he's delivering on that promise, winning Champions League Man of the Match awards, and he's by no means a finished product yet. While his rise has been rapid, it has felt inevitable. Hey, I'm Adrian, by the way, and if you find yourself enjoying this video, do help us out with a like. It's the easiest way to support the content, especially now that views from people who have ad block don't count. The likes do, though. Lennart Karl was born in Frommersbach, Germany, a town in Bavaria that's not too far from Frankfurt. He began his youth career with SV Viktoria Aschaffenburg when he was just 7 years of age, a club that has never reached the Bundesliga, nor produced a player of Karl's stature before. But a player of his ability didn't stick around for long, as it took just 2 years, by the age of 9, for Eintracht Frankfurt to sign him up to their own academy. It didn't take him very long to start making his mark at his new club, as he quickly became the best player they had, and maybe you even saw one of his goals without knowing it was Lennart Karl. That same left foot that is banging in goals against Club Brugge, Arsenal, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. In fact, funny to mention Gladbach. Take a look. This wonder goal that went viral in 2018 was indeed scored by Lennart Karl against Borussia Mönchengladbach. An unbelievable show of skill to allow the ball to go over his shoulder, take the deftest touch with the outside or the heel of his boot, swivel, and hit a volley into the top corner. Absolutely ridiculous goal for a then 10-year-old. Beyond going viral, that goal won him the Eintracht Frankfurt Youth Academy Goal of the Year, of which Karl received a pair of custom Nike boots at one of the senior team's home matches. Eintracht Frankfurt was extremely excited about his talent. I mean, how could you not be, right? His ability was plain to see, even for the most casual of football fans. You didn't need to be prime 2009-2016 Borussia Dortmund's Sven Mislintat to see that Lennart Karl was a very, very special player. Naturally, when a player is this good, especially in Bavaria, there's one side that comes calling. If you look at his youth career, you'll see he started at Viktoria Aschaffenburg, went to Eintracht Frankfurt for a few years, then back to Viktoria Aschaffenburg shortly before getting a move to Bayern Munich. Now, the reason for that is this. While he was in Frankfurt's academy, Bayern Munich convinced him to join their own. Of course, Eintracht Frankfurt didn't like that the biggest club in the country was poaching their talent. And so the timing here is key. His move to Bayern was finalized toward the end of 2021 and beginning of 2022, with Karl scheduled to officially join Bayern in June of that year. Given all was confirmed, Eintracht Frankfurt didn't want to keep a player that wasn't going to be with them at the end of the season. They didn't want him to take up a spot in the roster or develop him for Bayern, so he was released. But of course, he still needed to play, so he returned to his former club for a few months prior to joining Bayern. According to his former U15 coach at Viktoria Aschaffenburg, Frank Brunn, quote, "Even back then, Lennart was an incredibly valuable player for us with a cheeky playing style. You could already see then that he had potential if he kept a clear head." Brunn also confirmed that his decision to move to Bayern in 2022 wasn't just one that was motivated by playing for the biggest club in the country, and one of the biggest in Europe, but by his dreams from a young age, saying, quote, "It has always been Lennart's great wish to play for FC Bayern at the Allianz Arena. He can handle the immense pressure that exists at the professional level." But first, before hitting it big time and playing in the Allianz Arena with the first team, Karl, of course, played through Bayern's various age groups, and during the 24-25 season, he really exploded. First, for the U17 side, of which he went on an unbelievable run during league play. Karl had at least one goal contribution per game in the 14 matches he played before getting promoted to the U19s. In the U17 DFB Nachwuchsliga, which I pronounced incorrectly, I'm sorry, he kicked off the season by scoring 5 goals and assisting 1 in Bayern's 9-1 defeat of Unterhaching. He followed that up with 2 goals and 2 assists against Ulm, and on it went. 14 matches from August to the end of November, he scored 23 goals and assisted 10. He joined the U19s at just 16 years old and scored in his first appearance. He got 34 goals and 11 assists in 31 appearances for Bayern's various youth sides. Even for the national team, he scored 7 goals and 13 outings for the U17s. This great form got him an invite to the Club World Cup with the senior side this past summer, where he made 1 appearance playing against Auckland City. In an interview with Bayern Munich, he said that whichever age group he's playing with, he intends to improve himself, prove himself, and continue to develop. He's absolutely done that so far, and Bayern have needed him.
Oh my god, no! No! Oh my god, no.
Now, football is strange, and out of a completely horrible situation, the opportunities that have fallen to Lennart Karl have been a silver lining. Not as a replacement for Musiala, but a fortunate revelation that we may not have seen otherwise, at least maybe not to this degree, as Bayern supporters wait eagerly for Musiala's return. Now, in a previous video, we spoke of how another byproduct was how Musiala's absence on the pitch meant that Kane could drop into those areas to get onto the ball more and make use of his wide range of skills. Now, however, we're seeing Karl occupy that space, and when he does play there, that's where he gets his goals. So far, 6 of them. His first was against Club Brugge, a stunner in what was his first Champions League start. 3 days later, he came on as a sub against Borussia Mönchengladbach and scored once again. Another pearler. Against Freiburg, a goal and assist, followed by a goal against Arsenal in London, goals in consecutive Champions League matches. He'd make it 3 consecutive Champions League matches, becoming the youngest player to score in 3 UCL matches in a row. Then this past weekend, he scored against Mainz. Of the 6 goals, 4 have been with his left from varying distances, and 2 with his right. His weaker foot is something he says he's been working on in training to make him more unpredictable. I guess he took those early Arjen Robben comparisons to heart, right? But what makes him so good in Kompany's system is how he exploits space. No, not to the Raumdeuter's level, of course, not to Thomas Muller's level, but he plays in the half spaces, and as Kane himself said, makes himself difficult to mark with his movement. With Kimmich and Goretzka covering the midfield, Karl has freedom to sort of roam forward in the 2-2-6 shape that Bayern will sometimes take when in possession of the ball. As an attacking midfielder who has plenty of time on the wing, he's just as comfortable working his way in from the right as he is in staying in the right half space. Look at his goal against Club Brugge, where he is in that half space, then utilizes one of his most devastating abilities. He's an incredibly good dribbler and can do it at a very high speed. This alone, the speed and the dribbling, open up a lot of chances for Karl. Chances he creates for himself. But what also helps is not just how he can bend the ball and the accuracy of which he can do it, as he has shown us against Gladbach and others, but how quickly he can get a shot off. With the goal against Club Brugge as another example, he almost hits the ball in stride, with a swing of the left leg that is not so different from the leg movement he uses to sprint. It's not a big wind-up, if that makes sense. Rather than a massive wind-up where he has to plant with one leg and swing the other, he essentially shoots in stride at speed, but still gets power and accuracy on the ball. There is one player who does this really well and is the most obvious example, which is why I'm using it. And I use him not to compare the talents and say Karl is the next one, but Lionel Messi is the most obvious example of shooting in stride like this, getting a shot off with surprising power before a defender can even read that you are about to shoot because there's no tell. And because of this,
what he has is he has goal threat. So every single time when Lenny's on the pitch, he can score a goal, even if he has a bad game.
But he also makes very intelligent runs, using his speed to get beyond Harry Kane and arrive in the box to finish off attacks, such as how he did against Arsenal, or arriving in the box for a second ball as he did against Mainz. He has a sense of where the play is going, so he can be available to his teammates, while also being able to create chances for himself with his ability to beat players. He's happy on the ball or off of it in the attack. Beyond that, however, he's also a very disciplined player tactically. He has shown incredible composure and decision making, and this extends to when Bayern doesn't have the ball. He presses, he tracks back, he contributes, all of the work rate things that a coach loves. Now, how do we go forward?
I really believe in development. If Lenny doesn't play well, I will not all of a sudden change my mind. But if Lenny plays well, I will not all of a sudden change my mind. I think he needs time.
Kompany has been celebrated, and rightfully so, for how well he has handled Karl. But with every match that passes, with every goal scored or brilliant moment, it gets harder and harder to not play him. And his life will become even more difficult when Musiala returns, because what do? Change your shape in the attack? Serge Gnabry and Luis Diaz are also playing very well. Do you push one of them out? I highly doubt that as senior players. So what happens with Lennart Karl? Or is the onus on Jamal Musiala to take his spot back in the starting 11? The same question could be asked of the German national team, where he will be more difficult than ever for Julian Nagelsmann to ignore should his form continue. This is why Michael Ballack recently said, quote, "What he's showing week after week is very unusual and extraordinary. Both as a substitute and as a regular player, he's doing really outstandingly well. Julian Nagelsmann will take a closer look at how he will put together the squad. But he has proven that he has options, and that Lennart is, of course, more than just an option." So again, Lennart Karl is causing problems not just for opposing defenses, but for Kompany and Nagelsmann, the problems you want to have in your squad that can lift a fan base. Thank you for watching. It's greatly appreciated, and I'll see you for another video soon. Take care.